What's up guys, it's the end of the week and time for another daily grind with me, John from the Kilobits. Now I have my coffee. That's better. Anyway, hopefully you've all had a decent week. I've worked my way through another list of news today. Again, relatively slow news day, not a lot happening. Hopefully there's stuff out there that you've seen that I don't know about. If so, do let me know in the comments. If you're on Twitch, obviously you can let us know in the chat. I have got the chat box open. And likewise, if you're on YouTube, you can let me know in the comments there. Let me just check that's working. Public view, yes. Hopefully this is all working. I'm trying a scheduled stream on YouTube and also did YouTube as the second thing, so hopefully it's less stuttery than it was yesterday. So do let me know if everything's working or not. I don't doubt you will tell me if stuff is broken. Anyway, I've rabbiting on. Let's get on with the news. And first off, I thought we'd talk about PS2 appearing on PS4. I saw something on this a couple of days ago, and it's kind of all been confirmed in the last day. As part of the Battlefront bundle that for the PS4, it was giving away, well, not giving away, but bundled in with Battlefront and the PS4 console. There was Super Star Wars, Star Wars Racer Revenge, Star Wars Jedi Starfighter even, and Star Wars Bounty Hunter. Now the interesting thing was, those last three all appeared to be running on a emulator. This has kind of been talked about for a while. If this wants to click, yeah, there we go. Sony are doing a kind of their own emulation software for running classic PS2 games on the PS4, and unlike just some dodgy port, this is actually using emulation software, and it's adding a few enhancements and that, you know, obviously scaling up to, I think it's 720 or whatever, and it's all running a bit smoother than just a dodgy port. But this basically leaves us open to ask the question, well, what other PS2 games could we maybe expect to see? It'll be interesting. Oh, a noob improves. YouTube is working just a little slow to put the show live. Yes, yeah, I've been trying to tweak stuff and that. So yes, thanks noob for letting me know it is working. Anyway, yes, PS2 games. Yeah, I was actually only thinking about this the other day, mainly because I was looking for my old copy of SSX Tricky. I would love to see SSX Tricky back on. Well, I don't have a PS4, but that may encourage me to, you know, if there was that kind of back catalogue of games on the PS4 of, you know, classic PS2 games, that would certainly be a selling point. Obviously Xbox is doing their big thing of, you know, backwards compatibility now, putting in your old 360 games, but it'd be interesting to see if, you know, the prospect of a PS2 game playing on the PS4 will encourage people across, and how many people will have the nostalgia glasses, you know, the rose tinted glasses, and want to go back and play those old games. And I suppose it will also slow down Sony's preoccupation with doing, you know, re-releases. Obviously, I think it was this morning, late last night, it was announced, what was it, Beyond Two Souls is going to be, you know, re-enhanced and re-released on PS4. Do we really need, you know, a game that's only a few years old to be re-released? And that, I suppose I just give up on those kind of things. So yes, I do like the fact that we are potentially getting PS2 games. If there are any classic PS2 games you'd like to see, do let me know in the chat or in the comments below once the video's done. Okay, moving on. And this is kind of divided, well, at least my Twitter feed anyway, this morning. Yes, the big news of Kotaku being blacklisted. This raised many a smile amongst people I know. Yes, apparently, what was it, the US editor-in-chief Stephen Totillo did a big kind of op-ed piece last night, or late yesterday anyway, talking about the fact that Bethesda and Ubi have blacklisted them. Now, if you don't know what blacklisting is, just kind of a basic rundown of what the relationships are between press and magazine sites. Oh, noob improves. I still own a PS2, so I'm good already. YouTube is working just a little slow. Yeah. Okay. And sorry, Dangela. Sorry if I'm boring. I'm just trying to go through the news. It's not very exciting. The Kotaku stuff is just funny. So yes, Stephen Totillo did a op-ed piece basically talking about the fact that they've been blacklisted by Bethesda and Ubisoft. Now, as you probably know, magazine sites, YouTubers, streamers, people in the press I do it in inverted commas, but do get kind of access to stuff from publishers and big distributors. It's normally press codes, but there's also press events and things like that. Early access, so they can kind of tell consumers what a game is like. Now, as part of this relationship, there's normally embargoes and things like that, but it tends to be a fairly good give and take between games PR and the actual press. But apparently, according to this piece, Bethesda and Ubisoft took umbrage to the fact that Kotaku did the journalism thing and did the investigative stuff of revealing secrets that they didn't want revealing. In the case of Bethesda, it was Kotaku broke the news about the Fallout 4 back in 2012 when they showed copies of the script and the rumours that it was in Boston and all that kind of thing. So they were breaking news as a news site should. And also for Ubisoft's case, it was when they released information about, or I think it was screenshots of Assassin's Creed Victory at the time, which obviously became Syndicate. Now, apparently Bethesda and Ubisoft didn't like this fact, so they blacklisted them, and that basically means they cut off all communications. Most of the time that just means they'll kind of bounce you around in emails, and they won't actually get back to you. You won't get that press access to events. You won't get press codes early and things like that. So it does hinder some kind of access and being able to actually cover games in that kind of those early stages. But where I find all this amusing is they're acting as this is the end of the world. Yeah, there's so many other sites and journalists and things like that cover it. The fact is, they still managed to cover Fallout 4 before anybody else because Bethesda actually sent a copy of the game to one of their freelancers. So they still got the coverage. So this does feel a little like they're throwing the toys out the pram just because they've been blacklisted, but they are not the only ones. I mean, I'm pretty sure we've been blacklisted. We get the usual, we've run out of our supply. I mean, one person that famously says that is Jim Sterling has been blacklisted by people like Konami and Capcom and things like that. And he just goes, I'll just check my Patreon. Oh, look, I can afford it anyway, so I'm going to buy the copy. So the fact is, Kotaku can obviously get hold of copies. It's the press access to preview codes is not the end of the world. Where I found it a bit more balanced was not the US Kotaku site, but UK's one. Kez MacDonald did a follow-up piece, and hers was a bit more balanced, as you'd expect. But the thing she pointed out that is probably a bit more pertinent to the kind of journalism thing is the fact that the cutoff, the blacklisting also means there's no communication between the journalism, the news site and the publisher. So in the case of trying to get information, trying to get stories confirmed or denied or anything from a publisher, this it kind of is not good for the actual publisher's sense, because she mentioned a point where she tried to get in touch with Ubisoft to kind of confirm a story, and the PR person just put the phone down on her because she was ringing from Kotaku. But then she got a phone call a short while later from that PR from their own personal phone saying, look, you've been blacklisted, we can't communicate via, Ubisoft phone or email, this is why. So there is an element there of, yes, being cut off, being blacklisted, it does affect kind of being able to give the full story in the news coverage, because you can't get the other side of the story from the actual publisher. But in the end, that is just hurting the publisher if they can't give their side of the story. So I'm basically reading this as, yes, Bethesda and Ubisoft are throwing the toys out the pram because Kotaku leaked stories about projects they were working on. But that happens with everyone and everywhere. You can never keep a secret 100%. But the funniest thing is, obviously, Kotaku are acting like this is the end of the world. If they want to be taken seriously as, journalists and a legitimate news site, you've got to expect people to not like the fact you're reporting on stuff they don't want reporting. There is this kind of carefully crafted narrative for marketing in that surrounding these games, surrounding these publishers. So yes, you have to expect, if you leak a story about a big upcoming project two years ahead of when they're actually wanting to release it, yeah, they are going to take umbrage with that, and they potentially will cut you off, access and that. But you only seem to get this in the kind of games journalism sphere, kind of other kind of areas of journalism, whether it's movies, music, sports, or just actual news. I can't see writers for the Washington Post or the Guardian or someone like that being pissed off because the kind of press offices at White House or Downing Street don't give them access. Then they know they're doing something right if they're reporting stuff that actually is telling the truth about a subject, and that is affecting how those organisations feel. They feel that they've been hurt, and that obviously the truth has come out. So yeah, I did see amusing tweets last night of I think it was Jim, a video gamer, was posting pictures of all the president's men saying it's not quite what was it, Woodward and Bob Bernstein. Kotaku, just chill the fuck out, really. Yes, you've been blacklisted, so has so many other people, but just get over it. If you want to be taken as a legitimate news source, this is going to happen. Anyway, yeah, that's my kind of little bit of rant. If any of you guys have any thoughts or ideas, comments, or anything on this kind of Kotaku news story thing, do let me know in the chat and that. As I said, is the stream actually holding up? As I said, I experimented yesterday with doing the whole stream on both Twitch and YouTube. Twitch seemed to be fine, but YouTube was a bit stuttery, so I'm hoping doing it this way round is less stuttery, but do let me know if it is appearing to be dropping frames or whatever. Anyway, next news story. Yes, this was a big one. I spotted last night, and it just kind of affect me and everybody else in doing the YouTube thing. YouTube have altered their fair use kind of policy. This doesn't affect kind of content ID and music getting tagged and things like that. This is more for organisations, specifically for kind of games press and that. Well, I said games press again. There's gaming coverage on YouTube. These dodgy independent developers that, when they get the criticism, taking action by having the videos taken down. Yeah, this is basically to stop that. Obviously, there's been several big cases along these lines. Obviously, we've had Total Biscuit had strikes because of, what was it? It was Garry's incident. It was the Garry's incident. Then obviously Jim Sterling has had loads of this kind of stuff, and I actually think he's being held up as an example of what fair use is, but I'll get into that in a second. Another big example most recently is Super Bunny Hop. Obviously did a big kind of journalistic piece on the relationship between Kojima and Konami, and Konami, again, publisher throwing their toys out the pram again, got the video taken down. But YouTube stepped in almost immediately and got the video reinstated. And this is what YouTube is now going to be doing. It is going to be taking these bullshit cases where this is obviously fair use. You know, it is people doing what is classed as fair use, the journalism, the critique and review, and saying, no, you can't have these videos taken down just because they say something you don't like. And it's basically done this as a way of protecting content creators. I mean, they've released a statement saying this is a step towards protecting fair use and freedom of speech on YouTube. And essentially, they are going to be acting on behalf of the content creators in actually, you know, if these incidents do go to court, YouTube will help back the content creators to the tune of $1 million in legal costs. So it can hopefully stop these bullshit cases of YouTubers having their livelihoods at risk because content creators are putting strikes up against them. Because obviously the 3 strikes and you're out policy is still there. So if, you know, somebody did 3 videos on a game or something and the developer didn't like it and did the whole 3 strikes thing, that's it. That YouTuber's livelihood is out the window because the policy is 3 strikes and you're out. The whole channel gets shut down. So this is some way goes to kind of repairing that. And obviously YouTubers have kind of an unusual relationship with YouTube because yes, it's our bread and butter, but it's also where can we actually get defined rules of what fair use is and what can we put up which isn't going to get taken down straight away, all that kind of thing. So yes, this actually helps clarify, and it's there to protect content creators, which is a fantastic thing. This is what we've needed for a while. And obviously Jim fucking Sterling did a video on this. He obviously been working with YouTube for a couple of weeks because his latest I think it was one of the Greenlight videos he did, the developers put a strike against it, but YouTube stepped in straight away, and this is one of the examples that's been held up for this, what this is legitimately fair use. Obviously, most famously, Jim Sterling's been dealing with digital homicide, with the slaughtering grounds, and this would hopefully stop that kind of backlash in the future. And if the developers want to go any further, then it would have to be a case of you would have to go to court. If you feel that badly that somebody said something nasty about your piece of work, then you'd have to go to court. You can't just be butthurt and get the video taken off. If it's essentially putting your money where your mouth is and not doing the underhand tactics of you know, it's been doxed recently, you know, people are trying to track down where he lives and that. So yes, if you want more information on that, I will put links down below. I'll also put a link to Jim's Jimquisition video on all this, which is a bit more concise than me just rambling. Yes, so what else? That's kind of all the kind of big news for today. There were other little bits and pieces. This one I did want to pick out straight away. Going from one bad game with, you know, digital homicide, slaughtering grounds, to another. Afro Samurai 2 Revenge of Kuma. Now, I've played this, and fucking hell, it's awful. This is definitely my contender for the worst game of the year. I would have done a video on it, but it was so bad it wouldn't record. Anyway, long story short, yes, people are getting refunds for this now. Steam and I think it was PSN and all that, where it's being sold. Versus Evil, who were the publishers for it, have agreed, yes, this game is a broken piece of shit, and we apologise, and here's a refund. And the worst thing about this was supposed to be an episodic release. So, I mean, one of the things, I had these notes prepared, and I was going to say, you know, how the hell can people expect there to be people to pay out for further episodes in this series, because this first one was so broken. I mean, one of the bugbears I had with it, you literally go in, you step 2 steps, and then there's another cutscene. You step 2 steps, there's another cutscene. The camera gets wrenched away, the controls are horrible. It was just an absolute piece of garbage. I will probably do a piece on this for kind of Game of the Year, kind of wrap-up type thing, just saying how bad it was and go through it. But yes, it's been pulled from Steam. People are getting a refund, so this is, you know, consumer rights in action. It's, yes, thankfully, we are getting games like this taken off when they are completely broken. And I'm just checking that everything is still okay. Primary stream, yes, yeah, everything's still working. Yeah, good. Right, yeah, do let me know if there's any issues with the stream. I'm still hopefully streaming to everything. I've got the preview window open. Yeah, I think it's still streaming. Yes, it is. Good. Okay. No, I'm just freaking out because I'm streaming to two sites now, and I know my computer is whirring away, so I'm thinking that's either going to blow up or one of the streams is going to go down. Anyway, what else? I did see other bits and pieces. Oh yeah, Blizzard. This is probably from earlier in the week as well. There's reports that the trademark dispute they had with Innovis Labs has been resolved. Obviously, there was whole trademark dispute over the title Overwatch. But that's all been wrapped up now, and obviously this is probably ideal timing for Blizz because they are doing their big stress test this weekend. Obviously, more people are getting access to Overwatch. Checking my email this morning, I still haven't got it, considering I emailed for the Kilobits, the Blizz PR and the PR they were working with 3-4 times, sending our details and say, yeah, you'll be put on the list. Never have, so fuck it. The hype train's passed on that one, so yeah, we may do coverage on Overwatch as and when we do get access, but we're probably not in this weekend's thing. So if you aren't playing, do let us know how it goes. Let us know if you're enjoying it, whether, you know, with lots more people involved, if it's actually, you know, affecting the servers, or whether this is, as you maybe expect with these kind of open betas now, are essentially just press release, you know, marketing, you know, building the hype train. Honestly, I think that the hype train has been and gone now. There was that kind of 2-week period when the first kind of streamers and YouTubers got access, and lots of people were loving it, but I've kind of seen not as much in my YouTube feed of recent. Admittedly, most of that's been probably taken up with Fallout 4 because everybody else is playing that instead. But yeah, I think you know, that initial outburst, everybody loved it. Obviously, we had the new characters be introduced as part of BlizzCon, the reveal for those, with the reveal of what the pricing structure is. I don't know if that's actually affected some of people's perception of it, the fact that it's going to be a paid for thing. As I said in kind of the first episode of the Daily Grind, I think it's going to be a good thing, because then, you know, at least there's not going to be that whole, well, what is the business model for it? Are we all going to be buying hats and skins and things like that? But you know, they will be selling skins. There was the whole thing of Blizz seemed to be dodging the question of, well, you say we've got access to all 21 characters available now, what about in the future? And they said, well, we don't know what the future is going to be, which is a fair enough statement. But we also know what, you know, those kind of statements kind of back publishers into a corner, because that's what Overkill said about Payday. Oh yes, there'll never be microtransactions. Here we are, well, a year or so later, and microtransactions is all they're known for at the moment. So yes, yeah, I think a paid-for model is good. The pricing was a bit odd because, what was it, the Xbox and the PS4 versions were like $60. No, yeah, they were $60, but they came with stuff like, you know, different portraits for StarCraft, and you get a pet Wilson monkey thing in WoW, and you get to play Tracer in Heroes of the Storm. But all those things are PC based, so if you are exclusively a console user, what are you going to do with them? yeah. So yeah, who knows? Anyway, right. What else? I think that's pretty much it. Oh, one other thing. Apparently, Halo 5 is making lots of money out of microtransactions. Apparently, the rec packs have generated $700,000 plus in the last month or so, which is I don't know much about this. I just read what I've read, and it's apparently money from these kind of microtransactions in Halo 5 are going towards the Halo World Championship tournament. So it's not as bad as it sounds. They're using the microtransaction money to kind of pay for the tournament, which is a bit like, you know, Valve using the compendiums for Dota 2 to pay towards the tournaments and things like that. So that kind of makes sense, but you know Microsoft's going to be skimming some of the money off the top there for, you know, administration fees or whatever it is. But yes, so Microsoft are making lots of money off microtransactions, but then again, everybody is. It is what the current market model is. Microtransactions are the biggest thing. Anyway, I think that pretty much is it for today. Have you guys got any news for me? Do let me know, as I say, in the chat. Just double checking. DMS for the things. No, nothing new. Yeah, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed this week of Daily Grind. I'm still kind of ironing out the kinks, working out what the best method for getting the information out to you guys is. Obviously, if you want to be updated on when we do go live, your best bet is following us on Twitter. I will always tweet out when we're going live. So as you can see there, twitter.com/thekilobits. And obviously, if you subscribe, you will get informed when the stream goes live. If you're on Twitch, obviously, again, you can come across to the YouTube channel, subscribe there. You'll get to see all the previous daily grinds. And as I say, Twitter is the best place to get in touch with me, and you will find out all the information what's going on. Yeah, and if you want to support the show, as it says there, Patreon, we do this for the love of it, but there are running costs. So if you do want to help us out, you can do by going over to patreon.com/thekilobits, and you will get kind of early access to one of our series, the YouTube's series, which is where you choose what games we play. Also a little behind the scenes stuff and all that good stuff. Anyway, as I said, I've been going on long enough. It's been a relatively slow news day. I don't think there has been anything else. Let me just double check the news feeds as they stand. Anything new today? Anything new? Go wait. No, that. Yes. No. Maybe. Telltale confirms Games of Thrones 2. No, doesn't seem like this. Oh, EGX has released its dates for EGX next year. I think it's 22nd to 25th of September next year. So if you're in London, or is it London again, or is it Birmingham? No, it's back at Birmingham. So if you want to go to EGX, it's Birmingham, 22nd to 25th of September. Anything else? No, I think that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys have had a decent day. If there's any information you want me to have a look at over the weekend and maybe fit into next week's daily grind, do let me know. As I say, you can get in touch on Twitter or on Facebook at facebook.com/thekilobits, or just let us know in the comments below. Anyway, that's enough from me today. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and I will see you anon. Bye. Oh, actually, just before I click the button, I just remembered. Yes, Fran's competition for Paladins. If you didn't see the video, I will leave a link. There'll probably be an annotation up there. That closes at 7 PM this evening, so you literally have 3 hours left to enter the competition to get beta access. Okay, right, I will go now. Bye.